All right, today we're diving into a real code-based showdown, JavaScript versus TypeScript. But this is more than just a fight between two technologies. It's really a story about evolution, about making our code safer, and about a huge shift in how we build software today.
For what, over a decade now, JavaScript has been the absolute king. I mean, just think about it for a second. It's the engine powering almost 2 billion websites. It's not even a debate. Every survey out there says the same thing. It is the most popular programming language on the entire planet.
But here's the catch, right? Its greatest strength, well, it's also its biggest weakness. That amazing flexibility that made everyone fall in love with it starts to cause some serious headaches when your projects get bigger. And that tension, that's what really paved the way for something new. Okay, so before we get into the new stuff, let's just quickly talk about JavaScript itself. What exactly makes it such a powerhouse?
JavaScript is what makes the web feel alive. It's the code that runs right there in your browser, working with HTML and CSS to make pages interactive. And the key thing to know here is that it's dynamically typed. Now, what does that mean? It means the code isn't really checked for certain kinds of errors until it's actually running. This is great for getting started quickly, for sure. But that forgiving part, oh man, it can totally backfire. When you're not just building a small script, but a massive application with a big team, that flexibility, it can turn into a major, major problem.
Okay, so what's the culprit? A lot of it comes down to this thing called type coercion. This is JavaScript trying to be your buddy, right? It sees you're trying to do something with two different types of data, and it just automatically converts one to match the other. Like, poof, that string is now a number. It thinks it's helping. And this is where it gets weird. Look at this. You're dividing the number 2 by the string 5. Now, you and we'd expect that to just break, right? To throw an error. Nope. JavaScript just goes, oh, I got this, converts that string to a number, and spits out 0.4. And these kinds of silent fixes lead to some of the most frustrating, bizarre bugs you'll ever have to hunt down, usually after your code is already live. Alexei Samoshin really nailed it when he called it a double-edged sword. Super handy when you're just hacking something together, but it becomes a massive source of bugs when you're building something serious. Or how about this one? This is a classic. You've got a simple function to square a number, but oops, you accidentally feed it the letter A. Does JavaScript tell you? Does it stop? No. It just silently fails while the program is running and gives you back nan, not a number. And that little nan can then travel through your whole app, causing chaos everywhere it goes. So it's exactly this kind of unpredictable mess that led the folks at Microsoft to create TypeScript. They saw the problem and decided to build a solution, a way to add a much-needed safety net right on top of the JavaScript we already know. Now, this is super important. TypeScript doesn't replace JavaScript. It's what's called a superset. That's a fancy way of saying any JavaScript code you write is already valid TypeScript. It just adds one crucial, game-changing feature on top, this optional system for checking your data types. Okay, let's go back to that multiplication mistake. With JavaScript on the left, remember, it runs, fails quietly, and creates a mess. But now, look at the right. With TypeScript, you can't even run the code. Your editor lights up with an error message before you even save the file. It tells you right then and there, hey, you can't put a string here, this needs a number. That is the whole point. Finding bugs while you're coding, not when your users are. And that one simple feature, it's a massive safety net. It literally makes your code document itself because you can see what type of data everything is supposed to be. It also gives your code editor superpowers with amazing auto-completion. For any big, complicated project, this is, without a doubt, a total game changer. And listen, this isn't just me talking. The entire industry is making a choice. Developers are voting with their code, and the results? Well, they speak for themselves. Check this out. This data from the State of JavaScript survey is just, wow. 40% of developers are now using only TypeScript. 40%. And only 6% are sticking with just plain JavaScript. That isn't a trend, that's a seismic shift. And when you see numbers like that, it's no surprise you get industry heavyweights like Daniel Rowe just coming out and saying it. TypeScript has won. The writing's on the wall, really. It's becoming the new standard for any serious web project. And it's not just people inside the web world. I mean, listen to this. When Guido van Rossum, the guy who literally created Python, comes out and says he recommends TypeScript because it helps you keep your head straight, that's a huge deal. That's a massive stamp of approval from a programming legend. All right, so the momentum is clearly with TypeScript. But what does that mean for you? How do you pick the right tool for your job?
This table is a really good summary. With JavaScript, you can get going super fast, but you're going to find bugs when the code is already running. With TypeScript, yeah, there's a little more to learn at the beginning, but what you get back is incredible tooling, and you catch those errors early. So it really boils down to what you're building.
Look, JavaScript is not going away. It's still the absolute best choice for a bunch of things. Building a quick prototype, a small weekend project, just need to whip up a script to get something done today, plain old JavaScript is perfect for that. But if you're playing the long game, building a huge, complex app, working with a dozen other developers, if that code base needs to be solid and easy to work on years from now, well, that's where TypeScript really shines. That extra structure and safety is worth its weight in gold. So you see, it was never really JavaScript versus TypeScript. It's not a fight. The best way to think about it is that TypeScript is like a great teammate. It's just putting up some helpful guardrails on your JavaScript to keep you from accidentally driving off a cliff. It helps you build better, stronger software. And that brings us to one last really interesting thought. With TypeScript getting so huge, are we actually watching JavaScript evolve in real time? There's a real proposal on the table right now to build these optional types directly into JavaScript itself. If that happens, the line between them could just disappear. It's going to be fascinating to see where this all goes.